Yesterday, we got some news that rocked the Chicago sports broadcasting world as iconic announcer Stacey King, three-time champion, passed away at age 59. I debated on making this an express episode so we can remember Stacey King. I apologize for being so late in getting here. Was doing some stuff around the house, getting ready for dual coverage of tonight with the WNBA and the NBA World Championship Series. Dietz is standing by. Dog is standing by. I'll say again, I flirted with the idea of making this an express episode, and the flirtation is still going because of so much that I have to do. And also, many people asked me over the weekend why I moved the show suddenly to 11 a.m. instead of 10 a.m. I am under doctor's care, at least for the next couple of months, and there's possibility I may be enrolling in school very, very soon. So that's why I moved the show to 11 a.m. to make sure all the appointments are made and that everything is done beforehand and I get home in time to do the show. Because when I was under doctor's care before and I was doing the show at 8 a.m., there were a lot of shows that were missed. And I don't want to miss any more shows with you guys at all. I don't want to miss any more shows with the crew either. I've had to postpone / cancel a lot of shows because of my health. So I've taken the time to get my health in shape, taken the time to get myself in shape, and there's a promotion that I'm going to be starting here pretty soon. And that's why I've moved the show to 11 a.m. I want to make sure my family's situated, I'm situated, and that my appointments are situated. Now, with all that being said, one last time for you, Stacey King. We're giving you the hot sauce. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Mister, will you please wake up? Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Good morning. Snowman here to all you Brock Purdy and San Francisco 49er haters. Shut up! I gotta thank you, Shane.
I mean, whatever happened to the games where breaking 100 points was, I don't know, unusual?
There was one word to sum up the All-Star weekend.
Trays. 'Cause we take this job so serious.
Splash Brothers, yes. Ray Allen, replace him with Steve Kerr. Reggie Miller, yeah.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Don't ask.
God help me with those steals. God help me.
Oh, yeah!
Let's go, baby.
Good morning, and welcome to the Manic One for the Hot Sauce Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Glad to have y'all with us, and there's someone waiting for us.
Passionate.
Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Unflinching.
Let's go back to losing. Parking was easier.
Unrelenting.
They're not going to keep him off the field tonight.
Totally.
This one has a chance.
Deeds.
That's not just a murmur, that's a full-blown fibrillation.
Deeds, good morning. How are you, my man? And he's clean shaven. What's up with that, man?
What's going on? What's going on?
You
You
clean.
know, it was a wild week. It was a wild weekend.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'll get into what I was doing for my weekend. I'll get into that a little bit later in the show because it has to do with another topic that we have. But
I was about to say,
yeah,
Deets, how much
you mentioned Express. After a weekend like this, man, this was a wild weekend. Wild.
I'm saying it
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now. I am heavily disliking this year already. I'm already not liking this year.
Why?
Too many
Besides the
people.
fact that the Cowboys have a bad schedule?
No.
It's not as bad.
I know
Cowboys have a
where
good
Victor's
schedule. I don't know
going.
what schedule y'all are looking at. Cowboys have a good schedule.
I know where Victor's going.
We
lost Chicago, which is where I'm from.
Chicago
lost an icon behind the microphone, and you all know him very well, Stacey King, who began with the Bulls, his announcing career with the Bulls began in 2004 when he and Chuck Garfien was doing the pre-game, halftime, and post-game duties. Then in 2007, with Johnny Red Curse failing health, he slid into the broadcast booth, first with Tom Dorr, and then later with Neil Funk, and later Adam Amin, another dear friend of mine. Victor and I had a chance to meet Stacey King.
Yep, we did.
And we did not have to wonder if he was as crazy off the air as he is on the air.
He was worse. He was crazy.
Stacey King, and I mean this very, very, we mean this very, very lovingly. Stacey King was a nut.
Absolutely.
He actually provided a lot of the great, dunk calls of the modern era for the Bulls.
I always say this.
This.
The announcer can really make a player from a good player to a superstar. You see that?
Anybody?
Right. We see that in wrestling a lot. I don't know if Austin would have been the superstar he was had not been for Jim Ross.
Absolutely.
Same thing with Jim Durham and Michael Jordan. And of course we got to talk about Derrick Rose, Stacey King. I mean, my God.
You know what? You mentioned iconic connections between announcers and players. Man, Deets, this is for you. The late and legendary Johnny Most, his connection with Larry Bird and the Celtics dynasty of the 80s.
I was about to go there.
Listen, Johnny Most, the play that Larry Bird stole the inbound pass, the call with Johnny Most made the play.
Right.
Okay. The call with Johnny Most made the play. May 7th, 1989. And Victor mentioned Jim Durham's call of Michael Jordan's shot in Cleveland to win that series.
It always happens to Greg Elo.
Yep. Yeah. Always happens to Greg Elo. Thank you, Jim Durham, for that. The late great Chick Hearn and his connection with Magic Johnson and the Showtime era Lakers. And later with the Kobe and Shaq Lakers, because
I was gonna say Jeff Joniak and Devin Hester, because even though Devin Hester was an amazing return man, Jeff Joniak saying, you are ridiculous, calling him the Windy City Flyer, those things really built up his status too.
And you mentioned Chicago. We got to show some love for the recently retired Pat Foley and his work with the Blackhawks.
I mean, if you want to talk Chicago, I was going to say the Hawk, and let's not forget Harry Carey.
Carey.
Yes.
Harry Carey, his legendary status with both teams, the White Sox and the Cubs.
Way to go, Sammy!
Exactly.
Well, that's kind of the good thing, and not that there's ever a good time for this to happen, but at least this happened while the NBA finals are on and the Bulls are not, the Bulls are not involved.
Right.
So it wasn't like Stacey King was going to miss a Bulls championship run or a Bull, a Bulls finals game.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Second thing, at least it happened in the middle of the finals. So we'll see what the NBA does. I would imagine they would have a moment of silence. I would imagine there's at least a moment of silence before the tip-off tonight for Game 3.
I've met quite a few NBA announcers, and I've had a couple of them here on the show. Bill Schoenig with the Spurs, recently retired, and of course Tim Roy, longtime announcer for the Golden State Warriors. I've had Wayne Larrabee, who was a television voice for the Bulls for 13 years.
I was about to bring him up.
Yep, Wayne Larrabee was a television voice for the Bulls. He worked with, of course, with the late legendary Johnny Red Kerr. Stacey King. You want to talk about an announcer that defines an era? Right. Stacey King, and I can't believe I'm going to put these next two words in front of him. The late Stacey King was to this era of the Bulls what Johnny Red Kerr was to the Jordan dynasty.
Right. He brought so many different names and antics to each player. Chicago's finest brew, Kyle Korver, give me the hot sauce funk. And Joe, Mouse in the House. Remember that? Small Mouse in the House.
I mean, to put it easily for somebody like me, because I've gone through a lot of the NBA eras, and of course, also watching a lot of Sports Center, his edge reminded me a lot of Stuart Scott.
Yes.
That little claw he had.
Yeah. It's this little flair he had, and it's like he really made that. He's the main reason why I got so angry when the Bulls games were no longer local.
Yeah,
because
when all that happened, and we talked about it here on the show, there was no way for the fans
to watch
even in Chicago.
Games.
Yeah, because they pulled the games from WGN. And they put them all on Chicago Sports Network, which is behind a paywall. But yeah, Stacey King was fun. Stacey King was a fool. And I mean that with all the love in my heart, because anybody who had a chance to meet and greet Stacey King, what you saw is what you got.
When we were working at Ho Chunk, I believe it was the Braves that his son was on that team, the Chicago Braves.
Yes.
And he was there, and he stuck out like a sore thumb.
Y'all thought I stuck out like a sore thumb.
Right.
The weekend we had Stacey King in the complex, I looked at Victor and he looked at me and he says, he looks familiar.
I'm like, is that Stacey King? It can't be, right?
Right.
I'm like, no, that's Stacey King.
I looked up and saw him sitting on a bucket, and any guy who's like 6'4" and up, that is involved with baseball, yours truly. When you sit your tall ass on a bucket,
right,
your legs will hurt.
Oh my God.
You're talking to the on that one, bro.
How do I know this? How does Shane know this? How does Victor know this? We all had to do that ish.
At one point.
I played the sport. We all had to sit on a butt. Look, I played the sport at the end of the 80s, 1989, 88 and 89. We all in baseball had to sit on a bucket.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
And I saw him sitting on the bucket, ramrod straight. Now I looked over, and Victor says, that can't be Stacey King.
Right.
Victor, I got news.
It is.
Of Stacey. That is every bit of Stacey King.
Stacey King. Yep.
And he said, what?
And we had him on both
and
of our
then
shows at one point.
I saw Yes, we did. Victor had gotten him first.
Yeah.
Victor had gotten him first on his field, and I hear Victor laughing his head off.
Yeah.
I said, what is going on here? That game ends, our break. I'm getting ready for my game. And then Stacey comes over, leans over, and says, make sure you get my son's name right. I turn around and look up, and he's cracking up laughing.
Right.
Because he got me off my game in a hurry. And Victor comes over, and he says, you realize you say one more word, Victor, I'll sock you in the throat. And Victor's cracking up. Victor's cracking up.
At one point, I yelled out, give me the hot sauce. Because Kendall snatched one out of the air.
Mm-hmm.
Line drive towards him. He snatched out there like, give me the hot sauce. That's why Stacey was laughing at me.
And then on my field, Kendall left the yard.
Right.
And I had a recording of Stacey King saying, give me the hot sauce.
Right.
And I played it.
Oh, man.
I played it. And it's like, man, that weekend where we had Stacey King and his team reached the championship.
Yes, they did.
I had the call on my field.
Yep.
And I decided I'm going to have a little fun. So I broke out my second computer, plugged it in, and decided I'm not only going to do the public address, I'm going to do the play-by-play for this on my network. And Fran comes riding over on his tractor. God bless you, Fran.
Right.
Fran rides over on his tractor, and he says, what are you doing with two computers? I said, Fran, you want to see a magic trick? He said, hell yeah. What you got up your sleeve? Watch this. And it was at the time where you could plug a hotspot into your computer via USB.
Yep.
If you had the right carrier. And the carrier I had at that time was Cricket.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the local store was a sponsor of mine.
Right.
So they said, we'll give you a year's worth of free Wi-Fi if you promote this particular store. You're on. I broke that out, and Fran looked at me, and a wicked smile was across his face going, you're not going to do what I think you're going to do. You damn right I'm going to.
Yes, I am.
So I reached into my bag of tricks, and I know Jay Spivey's waiting for us, and I know we're due for a break. Stand by. And I decided we are going to go express today. And Dietz, I want to invite you back tomorrow because tomorrow may wind up being a mega show. So stand by with us. But I pulled out my second laptop, got it together, pulled out my headset, my play-by-play headset, which I found a way, don't ask me how because I can't tell you, to plug from my mixer into the speakers. Did that, cranked up the Bulls intro, and Stacey King turned and looked at me and had a 2-foot-ish eating grin on his face.
Yes, he did.
I did the entire call, and I thought my dad could give bear hugs.
Right. Right.
Stacey King is a dad. Stacey King gave yours truly a bear hug. Yours truly was limping for about 25 minutes.
Yep.
And Victor comes over and he says,
no, I knew exactly what happened.
happened.
No, I knew exactly what happened. I knew exactly what you did.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, we're gonna go express today as we remember Stacey King, and as I said, Jay Spivey is standing by. We're gonna talk a little baseball. Yes, we talk baseball here on this program.
Sorry,
and I'm gonna hit one of Dietz's suggested stories about how the MLB Players Association is playing for the strike instead of trying to prevent it. So we'll hit every bit of that.
And the MLB fans are crying foul.
And I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I'm extremely crying foul because I love baseball.
We're crying more than foul, I'll tell you that much.
No one's crying. No one's crying. No one's crying at all over this because no one's talking about it.
Right.
That's
well,
crazy.
we are.
No one's talking about it. It's
we are.
That's why it's allowed to fly under the radar the way it is.
How is that possible?
Don't ask.
No idea.
You know how I don't know how it's flying under the radar. All right.
Break.
Hi.
Are you done talking yet?
For a few minutes.
Good God.
And there's the mic drop for the day.
Yep. The legendary Dr. K.
Now we'll take a break. I got a kiss from my wife. I'm feeling good. Jay Spivey standing by on this Now Express episode of Snowman in the Morning. Whew. Okay, I got to put the stars back in my head. Back in the deuce.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
During bad weather, driving can become downright dangerous.
What's your emergency, please?
Trust Battle Vision Storm, the revolutionary glare reduction glasses that turn your sight bright during bad weather at night or during the day. Watch your ordinary vision become extraordinary. Battle Vision Storm uses light optimizing lenses that block blue rays so you see clearly in heavy rain at night or blinding snow during the day. Heavy rain, snow, sleet, or fog can make it impossible to drive. Not with Battle Vision Storm. Get your Battle Vision Storm for only $19.99. But wait, due to rising costs and supply chain shortages, this may be your last chance to get your very own at this low price. There is a strict limit of 4 Battle Vision Storm per order while supplies last. Don't wait, order now.
Call 1-800-483-6319 or visit battlevisionstorm.com. So call 1-800-483-6319 now.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy, and now begins a future one of matrimony, or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another beating a dead horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network, in association with Comey Media Incorporated, proudly present The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. Live every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central. Because we take this job so serious.
And Father O'Shaughnessy need to go to hell. That's what he needs.
What did Father O'Shaughnessy do?
I quit. We're done here. I'm done. We're out of here.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning.
I still don't know what I did to deserve that.
I don't know either.
37 after the hour.
Now, boss, before we get too far into things, you and I were talking about something that happened to me over the weekend. And while we're going to save that for tomorrow, I'm going to put it this way. It ended in a way that I was not expecting at all for it being on Twitter or being involved with a certain fan base.
Oh no.
That's tomorrow.
I saw that in Discord.
But for right now, we got a trip to North Carolina to make. Hey,
and
Jay,
we're gonna make it right. We're gonna make it right now. Here's Jay with the all-new Spivey Notes for this Monday. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
What's up, guys?
It's June
What's
8th,
happening,
and
Jay?
Dave Pepper still wants attention.
What's up, Jay?
What's up?
Jay, let me ask you. Have they stopped celebrating in Chapel Hill yet?
Chapel Hill?
No, we're talking about he's talking about the super regionals.
You mean
that game yesterday was wild.
Yeah, it was.
Regional that Southern Cal handed to them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I watched
that one. The one that left the ACC out of the College World Series?
Mm-hmm. That one.
USC handed them that game. Let's be real.
Oh,
children.
Nobody. Of course, ESPN didn't even mention this yesterday, and I understand why he did it. Well, first of all, the play. If you guys watched it, the play before the end of the game, it's a tough play. I understand that, but the shortstop should have made that play in foul territory.
Yes.
Which led to another couple pitches.
Mm-hmm.
Then the final play, I do not understand why the center fielder slid before he hit the wall.
Mm-mm.
He slid way before he needed to.
Right.
Because if he had run through, I know the wall's there, I get that. But if he had run through, I think he would have caught the ball.
Probably
would have. Took a bad. Well, first he took a bad route on the ball.
Yeah, he did.
He took a bad route on the ball.
And then to compound it, the coach made stupid pitching decisions over and over and over.
Right.
Yep. And North Carolina gets a walk-off win.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll play Texas.
Yep.
Good luck with that.
Exactly.
Oh, excuse me, not Texas. It'll be Ole Miss. I'm sorry. Ole Miss.
They'll play Ole Miss.
I'm sorry.
Still, I don't know which one of the two is more.
Yeah, absolutely. But have they stopped celebrating yet? Long enough to realize they have to play Ole Miss now in the Super Regionals?
Well, we'll find out. I guess they play Friday, I believe.
Yeah.
We'll find out Friday. They haven't announced it yet, but the other game is Troy and West Virginia that day. I think you can count on Carolina Ole Miss being the night game.
Yeah. Carolina Ole Miss going to be the night game.
Absolutely.
And if there's a Game 5 of the NBA World Championship Series, I'm going to put the headset on for double coverage because I want to see that one. I want to see how UNC measures up against Ole Miss. Speaking of baseball, Jay, are we heading toward a strike head on?
Well, I think it's more likely going to be a lockout, but just that's semantics. I mean, I know he's on the side of management. I understand that. But when Rob Manfred came out the other day and he said, I'm afraid that's going to happen, I'll be shocked if it doesn't happen.
Well, Deeds Minton,
I've been saying this for a long time ago. Once again, this happens over and over and over. Where they put themselves in a box by doing this every 5 years.
Right.
Every 5 years. And you know it's going to happen one way or the other, whether they miss playing time or not. It's going to happen. But I'd be shocked if they didn't miss at least part of next season.
I'd be shocked too.
I just don't understand how this continuously keeps happening.
This happens every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Because, a lot of people don't pay attention to this, but around the world, and I know we live in a box, I get that, but the NMLB Players Union is quite likely the strongest union in the world, and it has been for years. And they're going to fight this tooth and nail, despite this, for the best of baseball, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. There needs to be a salary cap and a salary floor.
Yes.
we cannot allow in terms of the high end, we cannot allow the Dodgers, Blue Jays, Yankees, Mets, and maybe a few others to do whatever they want to do. Mm-hmm. And on the other end, we can't allow teams to just not spend money at all, which about 10 or 12 of them are doing right now.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem baseball has. And everybody loves to focus on the Dodgers, they're buying championships, they're doing all this. And while that's true, you also have teams like the Florida Marlins that refuse to spend money on players.
I don't have any problem with what the Dodgers are doing because they're just doing what's in the rules. But it's bad for baseball.
Yeah,
it's bad for baseball.
I've said it a bunch of times. The Dodgers are doing what their budget allows them to do. And the difference between the Dodgers and a team like the Marlins, the Dodgers have 5 high-profile owners. Mm-hmm. So you take a $250 million player salary. Well, you divide that between 5 people. It's not bad.
The Dodgers are really.
You take the Marlins and you divide it between one owner. One owner. They're paying almost double what every Dodger owner's paying.
The Dodgers really have one owner. It's the Guggenheim Group. That's really the group. Mm-hmm. Now there's some people under that umbrella, but the Guggenheim Group has no budget whatsoever. I mean, it's basically the same group as the Lakers now. I mean, they have no. If the NBA didn't have a salary cap, I mean, the Lakers get anybody they wanted.
Yeah. What is the Dodgers salary cap? Yes.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And the fact that baseball, my only problem, and this is not the Dodgers' fault either. This is a baseball rule. Well, how are you allowed to defer salary to whenever you want to defer it? I mean,
that's the thing.
Ohtani's only getting $1 million a year, but he's going to get all this back on the back end 30 years.
Exactly. I mean, the fact of the matter is the Dodgers are playing ball both on the field and behind the scenes, and that's why they're winning championships. And things have to change in order to level the playing field.
And I think in the long run, despite the players fighting this, I think it's going to be for the good of the players if they will allow a salary cap and a salary floor.
What the Dodgers are doing is basically Bobby Bonilla-ing Shohei Ohtani's salary.
Yeah, in a way, that's true. Yeah, and don't forget that the anniversary is coming up here soon.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be collecting this money in about a month.
In about a month's time.
Less than a month, about 3 weeks.
Yep. So what the Mets did, being stupid, the Dodgers are doing and being smart about it, especially with the highest profile player that they have on their roster.
The difference is the Dodgers are doing it on the front end.
Dodgers are doing it.
What the Mets did, the Mets deferred the payment when they had to pay when they wanted to get rid of Bobby Bonilla. Not to get Bobby Bonilla. They deferred all the payments to get out of his contract. And he made the smartest business decision in the history of decisions.
The Dodgers are doing, because it's run by
the Dodgers are doing it on the front end, which is wild.
The Dodgers are doing it because of who runs the team, and that's Andrew Friedman, who used to run the Rays. The only difference is the Dodgers spend money, the Rays didn't spend money and don't spend money still.
I mean, look at the fact of also the market that it is. Los Angeles, that is prime.
You have to spend.
You
money
have to do what you got to do.
Just look at what the Rams are doing right now. The Rams have to do that.
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean, mean, the Rams have made some of the biggest moves in the NFL.
Myles Garrett, anybody?
Even they restructured his contract.
Mm-hmm.
Well, heck, they just restructured Matthew Stafford's contract.
Yep.
Correct. Well, they had to restructure Matthew Stafford's contract if they were going to have any chance of getting Myles Garrett.
They're clearly going all in this year. They're obviously going all in this year.
Which brings about the question. And the biggest reason to me, this is my crazy mind thinking, where's the Super Bowl?
Well, look where the last one was. The last one was L.A., and they went all for it that year too.
Mm-hmm.
When they played the Bengals that year, they went all in that year too.
And they're going all in again in trading for Miles Garrett.
Who owns the stadium? Stan Kroenke. Who owns the Rams?
Stan Kroenke.
He actually owns the stadium, unlike most stadiums that are funded by taxpayers. I mean,
Yep. And if in the case of Chicago, the Chicago Park District, which is a sinkhole in and of itself. Don't ask me how I know. I only lived there for 30 plus years. The Bears do not own Soldier Field.
Well, that is a fiasco. If they don't play in Chicago and move to Indiana or some suburb of Chicago, that is a huge mistake.
It is. It is a huge mistake because you're taking the biggest part of Chicago legacy. Never mind the sports legacy. The biggest part of Chicago legacy out of the city.
That is, although there's obviously a lot of money that's being spent with the Bears. I get that. But it is a blue-collar town through and through.
Yes.
You don't move to the suburbs.
Victor, how many games?
We talked about this on Friday. If the city of Chicago loses the Bears to a suburb in Indiana, every single person in Chicago, every single person in the Chicago electoral office needs to be out. The people of Chicago need to do their job and vote those people out. I don't care who, I don't care what party they are. I don't care what party you put in. Every single person that allows the Chicago Bears to leave the city and go to a suburb in Indiana, they need to be out. They need to be gone. They're not doing their city any favors.
At all.
George
House is rolling over in his grave.
He's rolling over in his grave right now because you're talking about a charter franchise.
I know his daughter. I mean, she hasn't been dead that long, but I don't even think Virginia McCaskey would have allowed this. I just
no, she would not have. She would have fought tooth and claw. She would have came the Mama Bear of Mama Bears.
Tooth, claw, and nail for this.
She would have been the Mama Bear of Mama Bears to keep the Bears in Chicago.
Victor, how many games over the years that you've been my announcing partner and my chief engineer, how many games have we done at Soldier Field?
Too many to count.
How many prep bowls have we done at Soldier Field?
Again, too many to count.
I mean, the most recent game that we did at Soldier Field 3 years ago was the Chicago silver Classic. Anniversary of the Chicago Football Classic. Yep. And Jay, I'm going to share a story with you that I had a whole group. Okay, we had the Snowman Multimedia broadcast group at Soldier Field. You want to talk about a comedy of errors? And I know, Jay, you went through a comedy of errors when you showed up at a holiday tournament this past season. And then who showed up
late.
Well,
right.
I didn't allow it to be a comedy of errors because I was standing my ground, even though nothing was said, but I was standing my ground. I wasn't going to allow it to happen.
Well,
right.
we were doing the same thing, but it was a comedy of errors on the part of the people in charge.
Right.
We had to wait out in the heat
for 3 hours. My wife, who became my social media mistress as well as the logistics manager, nearly passed out. Yeah.
I'm walking a mile each way trying to get water.
And there was nothing.
And they wouldn't give us any water. I'm walking around with my press pass, Jay. Wouldn't give us any water for the life of us. When we finally got in, and again, Jody nearly passed out, I told the guys, go upstairs, get set up, let me take care of my wife. She finally got enough strength. She got water to go upstairs into the booth. And this is the biggest part of the comedy of errors. And Victor, you know where I'm going because I can see the smile on your face in my head.
Yep.
We get the program. Now, Jay, you've covered a number of events. You must have a program with the teams in said program.
And roster.
Right?
Yeah.
and the rosters. Right?
Yeah.
We got the program. We got a list of everybody in charge. We got the teams that have played in previous Chicago Classics. There were two very important pieces of information missing.
The rosters.
Yep.
Let me explain it to you this way, Mr. Spivey. In this program was every single elected official in Illinois. If you wore a suit and you were in Chicago, you were in this book.
Yep.
They were so lazy that for one team, not only was there no roster, they took a screenshot of the team website team photo.
Yep.
And I could tell this because you look towards the bottom, there's a box saying click to scroll.
Yep. Yep.
How are you this lazy?
Well, I see it all the time.
And you know what?
You run an event or a game, and you can't. To me, I know people don't think about the media, but the media is part of you're getting your distribution out to the rest of the public.
Right? Yep.
So the least you could do is have a roster available. And I see it so many times where it's not available.
I'm going to make a T-shirt. I promised Victor I'd do this 3 years ago. And the crew that was there with me, Jody included. And on the front of the shirt is going to have the checklist that we usually do. And on the back, in quotes, it's going to say, "Where's the bleeping roster?"
Yeah. And the fact that management doesn't seem to care.
No. Look,
whether
Jay,
it be an athletic director, a coach, or a principal, or whomever, they don't care.
I had a full 90-minute pregame show planned because I talked to both the coaches. I talked to both of the athletic directors. I talked to athletes on each team. It was Central State and Mississippi Valley State. Had all the interviews done, saved, lined up. I even went through the painstaking process that morning of putting the pregame show together. Jody walks by and says, "Honey, we got to go." I saved everything. Didn't even get a chance to run the pregame because, good morning, Zakia McCoy. Thanks for checking in. Didn't even get a chance to run the pregame show. Why? We were sitting out in the doggone heat. And Victor looked at me as he was getting everything ready because Victor's, like I said, my chief engineer, and he says, "Do we run the pregame show?" No.
There's no point now.
We sit here and cool off.
And here's a really ultimate problem. So inside these press boxes, there was a full cooler. I'm talking about there were bottles of water. There was a soda fountain.
Yep.
Everything there. Locked up tight.
And they didn't turn the soda fountains on.
No.
I've been there and done that before. I understand that.
So now you have to go down and pay what? $5 for a bottle of $5-7 for a bottle of water.
That is my other thing. I know that everybody thinks you're not supposed to cater to the media and have a red carpet out for me. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But the least you could do is have some water or a soda or even a pack of Nabs or some popcorn or something.
The basics.
Victor, we have done many an event in Chicago. All right. Shane, I know you covered racing events out in your area. I know Jay has done a lot of events down in North Carolina, as have I. I'll relay this story here. When I was working for you know who,
oh boy,
there was each weekend for like 5 weeks I did a blue chip basketball tournament, blue chip basketball league. I beg your pardon. I drove from Henderson, North Carolina to Winston-Salem. I would leave 2 hours early because it's a 50-minute drive from Henderson to Winston-Salem. I had it timed down to a science from door to door.
You got to Winston-Salem from Hendersonville in 50 minutes?
Henderson, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
that's what I mean. Henderson in 50 minutes?
Yes, sir.
You must have been booking it down 40.
I was. Jay,
you must have been flying down.
I would listen. I flew. Listen, I cut an hour 15-minute drive down to 50 minutes.
Wow, you must have been flying down.
I was flying, and you know what the great part is? It was on Saturdays.
Yeah,
then no cops were out. I was flying.
Jeez.
I was flying. I'm just glad I didn't get caught. Yeah. And my wife, my beautiful wife, every time she says, please be careful. I would be careful, and I would slipstream every lane I could from 85 to make the transition to Greensboro, Winston-Salem area.
This man was drafting like it was Talladega, and he was just switching lanes.
Yep.
I don't think if I drove there in the middle of the night, I could come anywhere close to 50 minutes.
But the point is this: I would get there within my own protocol, which is 2 hours prior to tip off, because you got to test equipment.
Absolutely.
Make sure everything plugs in.
Yep.
You get your spot. You get your rosters.
Particularly if you're unfamiliar with being in the facility.
Correctamundo. And it was very unfamiliar to me.
Yep.
Very unfamiliar. It was my first trip there. Do you know this fool was strolling in 20 minutes prior to tip-off?
Late.
Yes.
That sounds like him.
Yes.
Late.
That sounds just like him.
I'm sitting at my table waiting on equipment. This fool comes strolling in 20 minutes prior to tip-off, setting up the camera. I said, the hell with this. I reached into my own bag of tricks and pulled out my equipment. Got everything tested, got everything set. He comes over, looks at my setup, and his eyes pop out.
That's what happens when you have 2 hours of prep time. You can set things up better. You can check to see if there's certain angles will work, certain angles won't work. You can check to see if some mics need to be, 86, and some mics, can be moved up.
So you don't show up in the middle of the second quarter looking for where your seat is?
Right.
No.
Right.
No. I was there.
No, we don't do things like that. That's rookie stuff.
It is rookie stuff. Hello, 31 years in the game. I've done rookie stuff. I've done rookie scuff. Okay? I've done rookie scuff. Every day this week, I'm going to share a scuffing broadcast story. We're getting ready to get out of here in just a couple of moments. But to wrap up, as long as Jay and Victor and I and Shane and Chris have been in the game, you don't make rookie mistakes like that. You just don't. And the other part is, and Jay, you're familiar with how I roll. Victor, I know you're familiar with how I roll. I showed up in a shirt and tie.
Yeah.
As we do.
I showed up in a shirt. I showed up in a shirt and tie.
The least you could do is show up in like a polo shirt or something.
Yeah, a dress polo shirt.
That was the very minimum for me, even though I do most of my games.
You don't wear a hat. You don't wear a
no.
hat.
Heck no.
I see all the time.
Hell no.
A hat?
I see it all the time. I used to have a coworker that wore a hat, and I wanted somebody to just knock the hat off of him.
Hey, listen.
And he wore it backwards too, which to me is just a slap in the face to everybody.
It's a disgrace.
Lord.
It's a disgrace. I made that mistake and got the hat knocked off of me, yanked in the office, told what the protocol is, never left it.
The only time it's okay to wear a hat at an event is if you're covering something outside and you're trying to keep the sun off of you. That's
exactly
it.
And I had to do that with baseball the last year I was in North Carolina.
I have no problem with that. No problem with that.
I had to do it because I was on top of the roof in Burlington.
No problem whatsoever with that.
I was on top of the roof in Burlington. I had a hat with me, but then the sun came out and then it was clear night and everything. Fine. I wore a shirt and tie to this blue chip basketball league, and he looked at me like I was crazy. And he says, "You were." I'll close with this, Jay. As sure as I am sitting here, married to the love of my life and cancer-free since 2023, he looked at me and asked, "You wear a shirt and tie to your broadcast events?"
He looked at you like you said you talk baseball.
Most people do. Most people do.
He looked at you like you said you talk baseball. Just dumbfounded. How are you dumbfounded? You're supposed to be a mogul, some sort of mogul in sports media. I don't understand this.
I looked at him and I said, "Yes." And he goes, "Why?" I said, "That's my protocol."
Why?
Because it's
funny. You dress professional for a professional event.
Exactly.
Right.
Shocking.
Shocker.
Shocking. Listen,
What?
I'm old school. I'm old school. When I'm on assignment, I'm in a shirt and tie, especially when I'm on site. I did football. I did football for Jennings County here in Southern Indiana. I shocked the daylights out of them.
I know he'll be watching tonight for the game 3. Do you tell me any of those people tonight are not going to be wearing a suit and tie tonight?
Let's see: Mike Breen, Clyde Frazier,
Tim Legler,
the ESPN radio crew, Richard Jefferson, the ESPN radio crew. And I'd love to know who the ESPN radio voice is, because the first ESPN radio voice is a fellow I'm very familiar with, and a fellow who I modeled my play-by-play game after. And that is of course Jim Durham. But I got yelled. Listen, Jay, I'm gonna make you laugh.
You cannot tell me you got yelled at for that. You cannot tell me.
It gets better. It gets better. And Deets, you'll get a kick out of this.
Oh boy.
I'm doing my thing. I'm describing the play. Where the ball is. Mm-hmm. I taught everybody, Victor included, and myself, 2 very important things: follow the ball and follow the direction.
Yep.
Boss, I have your answer for the radio crew.
Okay.
Talk to me.
Mark Ketester on play-by-play.
Kestershire.
PJ Carlissimo, Doris Burke, and Jorge Sedano.
Okay, so Kesty is doing the radio call. Okay. Listen, I was taught by the late, great Jim Durham, by my dad and others, follow the ball, follow the direction. Mm-hmm. Which team is the team with the ball moving in? Are they moving left to right to left? Yep. Describe the uniforms. I did it and do it old school way. Mm-hmm. Do you know this man looked at me like I had lost my mind during a particular sequence?
Because the fans should already know what the guys wear. You shouldn't have to tell them. They should already know, right?
They looked at me. He looked at me and said, "Why are you describing the uniforms?" I'm talking to a radio audience.
Everybody does that on radio.
Right. Because they can't see it.
Thank you.
They even do that on NASCAR and all the other motorsports on radio. Come on.
It's like what Deet said.
I had to go to Raleigh Friday night, and I caught the very end of the game on Sirius XM on game 2. And even that I was listening to the Spurs Network. Mm-hmm. And they all were talking about what the uniforms look like, and that was in the 4th quarter.
Yep. I do it once a quarter.
Everybody does it.
I do it once. If I don't do it once a quarter, I do it once a half.
You paint a picture for the listener.
You paint say that, Jay. Say that again, please.
You paint the picture for the lister.
Because they can't, even on TV, outside, they can't see it. They're not looking at the TV. That's why you describe it as best you can. That's why radio announcers are more.
That's like Broadcaster 101, and I'm not a radio announcer.
It most certainly is.
Broadcaster 101, Football 101. We now have both introductions.
Sports Break Media. Good afternoon to you.
They even Ken Squire did that, and when he was on TV for NASCAR. I mean, come on, it didn't matter to him.
Yes,
he did that anyway.
Listen, I say this proudly. I grew up with the old school simulcast era. Chick Hearn, Jim Durham, Johnny Most. Trying to remember a couple of others. Mike Breen when he first got started. Iron Eagle. I grew up with the era where you paint the picture for the fans when you're doing an audio broadcast.
Right.
And then the new simulcast era came along. Thank you, COVID, where
all of that.
Yeah, the COVID changed everything, but it did not change my value and how I call games. Matter of fact, when I was asked to voice a couple games for UNCG, and I asked them, is there a way I can do it from here at home? Because by that time I had moved back to Indiana and I was on the verge of having my cancer surgery. I asked them, I said, how do you want me to call the game? Do I do a television style? Do I do a radio style? He said, which style are you more comfortable with? I said, I love doing the radio style. He just said, go with it. And I did.
Yeah.
Didn't matter if it was on ESPN Plus. He said, go with it. And after that game, he called me and said, we must have you for more games because we love that style.
Off to the races we go.
Off to the races we went.
I mean, if you want to look at guys nowadays, one name that pops to mind for something like that, Kevin Harlan.
Kevin Harlan.
And that's what. Why? I mean, why else? I mean, I know he does a million different sports, but why else do you think he's on Westwood One doing Monday Night Football?
For that,
yeah.
One of my best friends, Bill Schoening. Longtime voice of the Spurs, 24 years worth before he recently retired. I mentioned the longtime voice of the Golden State Warriors, Tim Roy. Had them here. One of my dearest friends is the radio voice of the Green Bay Packers, Wayne Larrabee.
Right. He's been doing it for years.
Years, man.
And don't forget when he was with the Bears.
14 years. He was with the Chicago Bears from WBBM to WMAQ.
He even did that with the Bulls when they were on TV.
He was the TV voice of the Bulls. Many years. Many years.
Mr. Mixon, I'm pretty sure he was suit and tied up.
Man, look. You want to talk about pissing Homer Boy off? Try this. He introduced me to the voice of the Panthers at the time in Mick Mixon, who became very, very dear to me.
And don't forget, he took over for Woody Durham when Woody left Carolina.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He introduced me to Mick Mixon. And then this fool said to me, be professional when you talk to Mick. What?
That's the last person to be saying.
As if you wouldn't be normally?
Right.
Do you know how many times? Listen, it got to the point where every Thursday, unless it was a Thursday night game, and we would talk the Tuesday before, every Thursday for 2 seasons, Mick Mixon was on with me at a regularly scheduled time. And most of those shows I did at a Starbucks in Durham. And he paid me the ultimate compliment when he said, quote, whoever follows me as the voice of the Panthers needs to keep this appointment with you, Snowman, on the air each and every week.
Mm-hmm.
And here I was accused by Homer Boy of not being professional. We got to get out of here.
That's patronizing on him. He should never have said that.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I kept my ways and he kept his, and I'm getting more popular than he is. And he doesn't even keep an archive of his games on his network.
Keyword, folks, network.
Well, I guarantee despite his quote-unquote love for Carolina, I bet he's not saying a word on his show or shows today about Carolina baseball.
Oh, I'm pretty sure not. I'm pretty sure he's not.
I'll leave it there. Jay Spivey joining us as he does every Monday, and today's Express Edition. Thank you, Jay, very, very much. We love you. We'll see you next Monday, my friend.
All right, guys.
Me not professional when I call a game? Every person on this panel, Victor Locke, Shane Lake, Chris Dietz, has ridden shotgun with me when I called a game, and I've been nothing but professional. I describe every bit of the action. Dietz does the same thing, so does Victor, so does Shane. Nah. Have a great day. God bless. And remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they're simply not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We hope y'all are too. Full show tomorrow. See you then. There's a lot of business we have to do tomorrow, and part of it y'all ain't gonna like.